Before I got married, I think I just turned 20. My dad was bringing me for a ride and giving me the lecture on, are you sure you want to get married? Are you sure this is the right guy? Do you really love him? And all this stuff. And then he said, and then I got something to tell you, Lynda, because I always thought I was the oldest of five girls, you know. And he says, well, we have a granddaughter. And I says, oh, you do not, you know, because I was just 20 and I didn't have any children. And I knew none of my sisters did. And he said, your Aunt June in Australia is not your auntie, she's your sister.
When June and Lynda walk down the street, they look just like any other pair of sisters who've spent their lives together. Only they haven't. They've spent most of their lives living thousands of kilometres apart, and this is just their second reunion.
I was born in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, in the Brisbane Women's Hospital. You see, I went in 2009 and came back in 2010. I was with my sister for about 2 months, a little over 2 months. Got to be with her. It's the last time I've seen her.
Do you want to go back to Australia?
I would love to, but I don't want to go by myself again. Yeah. But yeah, that would be awesome if somebody pay for it and I accompany. My sister June is really hard of hearing, and she's got congestive heart failure. So I don't know if I'll ever see her again. She was born July 30th, 1942. And my dad was gone fighting at the time. And he did not get back to even know he had a daughter till the next spring. When he got back to Australia, he, of course, went to see Mom, and there was Mom with a baby. And when my mother had my sister June, being as she was only 16, her parents said that we will just legally have our name, June Ingold, Ingold.
Because of a number of difficult circumstances, June was adopted by her mother's parents and was raised as their child. Her mother, whom June thought was her sister, took her two younger daughters, Lynda and Cheryl, to America to join her husband and the girl's father, who was an American soldier.
My sister June legally had their name, which didn't matter at that time. I mean, my mom and dad were so in love, and they got pregnant with me, and then they got married. And so they got married March 18th, 1944. So they would have been married 80 years this year. They're really, truly in love, and I'm so blessed to have had wonderful parents. My mother used to imitate the Kookaburra song so good.
Well, I grew up thinking my grandparents were my real parents. Unfortunately, I didn't know my grandmother because she died just, 6 months after Mum went to America. So I was more or less raised by my grandfather and my sister, my adopted sister, who was really my auntie, my mother's sister, which gets rather complicating. And until she got married, and then it was just my grandfather and I. And it wasn't until, I think it was about 14, when I received this letter in the mail one day telling me the truth. I can still see myself jumping around the table. I was so excited to find out that my sister was really my mother.
I have a sister, Cheryl, and she passed away 7 years ago. She had a heart attack. So she's the only one that's gone right now. And my sister Gloria is 3 years younger than me. And my sister Becky, and then my sister Vicky, Becky's 8 years younger than me. Vicky's 10 years younger than me. Then my folks got enough money after all their kids were out of school in 1986. They got enough money to send for Bill and June to bring them over here. So we had one day with all 8 of us together in our lives, one. August 12th, 1986.
I think one of the nicest things being that my husband and I have been able to go to America while Mum and Dad were still alive and be reunited, you know, for the first time in 44 years. I think that's been the special highlight because my mum was very close to her parents, which were my grandparents, and they both died while she was in America, and, you know, she was only just saying she'd love them to be alive to see this happen today, you know, our being reunited. Yeah. So I'm just going to be thankful that that happened, and hopefully it could happen again. We've just got to keep wishing.